It's a special show. This might be the most insane show I have done in a long, long time, if not ever. Because today, I always make these insane statements that might seem hyperbolic, but I always mean them 100% in like how I feel, right? And so, perfect example is Riders of Justice, which is the latest revenge thriller. I watch revenge story like John Wick or whatever, and that would be the most deep revenge thriller I have ever seen. And it's extremely specific. But today we're talking about a movie that is, by the way, sorry I didn't play this, is the most disturbing, the most horrific, the most traumatizing, and the most brutal movie I have ever seen, and that might ever be. And I'm being serious about this. We're not being specific. I will always be specific, except for today, which is why it's a crazy show. But that movie is so dark and so brutal that I will balance it out with some lightness, because thank God I got some lightness, baby. I got some lightness for you. First of all, we are talking about OpenWorld, a video game concert that I saw with an orchestra. Incredible stuff. I got receipts, and I'll tell you some fun stories from that. Come and See. Now, the most brutal film is either Come and See from 1985 or the Auschwitz Report, which is a newer film, just came out. Not many people have seen it, but one of these two is brutal. You will find out soon enough. But the main event, man, the main event is, to be honest, is why you should be sticking around. Because yes, I will show you some brutal stuff. I really will, because I do not want you to watch this movie that is the most brutal. But man, like it is something. At the end, I got Augmented Reality, which is a series, animated cartoons, if you will, put in real life. I can show you an example, actually. There you go. See? Right here. It's a normal wall cartoon onto it. It's a beautiful series. As you can see, it's number 7. He comes out with one of these a year. It's insane how rare these are. It's a very, very special thing. It's a very special treat, and we're going to share it together. Like, it's only 2 minutes, but trust me, it's crazy the amount of work that goes into it. And I also have one of the best Mad Cat clips ever. I promised it last show. I am delivering. So we got 2 main events that are guaranteed quality. And before that, though, we got to go through some muck. But let's start with some good stuff, man. Let's start with OpenWorld, the musical concert I saw. So it was at 2:30 in a symphonic room, of course. It's called Place des Arts. It's where I live. Anyway, here are my receipts, because I actually got not only a picture, kaboom. This is literally not only where I was seated, but also what I saw the whole time. And literally the only amount of people that were in front of me. So you had 2 people here and 1 person on the left. The rest empty. I'm not kidding. Of course, because of social distancing, there was limited amount of seats. So it's like one third of the possible audience, if not less. As you can see, it's brutal. And this is, but in a way, it makes the show better. Of course, it makes the show better, because not only do you see better, there's nobody next to you. So you ample amount of room. Like, man, especially me, because I'm giant. Spread it. So here's my video proof. And so yeah, the musicians, there was about 8. So it's classic instruments, though. There's nothing fancy. There's no bass. There's no guitar. But everything else, you got every type of violin you can think of. The bass violin, small violin, etc., piano, drums, and the drummer. My best story is about the drummer. By the way, my phone is so old. Look at this quality, man. It takes forever to focus. Got it. And even then, this is like some of the worst quality you'll ever see. My phone's really old, folks. Of course, there's 2 flute players, 1 tuba player, and of course the conductor. Which, by the way, I've never seen a concert like this. I've never seen a concert with a conductor. This is my first time. If I have, I've forgotten. And it was a young man, right? But the thing is, you gotta wear black pants, and you gotta. Anyway, point is, his tight, small ass could not be avoided, and like it made me realize, like, you cannot have. That's why there's no female conductors. It's simply because you're staring at their ass the whole time, and they're moving like crazy, right, with their hands and everything. So it takes away from the performers if you had either a gigantic ass, like something that would avert their attention. You know what I mean? Including, unfortunately, just a simple woman buttocks. Them's the rules, man. I don't make them. So this is one of the songs that we're playing in the concert, and it's one of my favorites. And by the way, these songs are very old. So they started from Nintendo all the way up to the first song in the entire thing was Horizon Zero Dawn theme, which was surprising because like I've heard it before, but I haven't played the game. I will stream it soon. But yeah, that was the most recent song. Other than that, there was the Halo theme, of course. And then you go in the past. You go Super Mario 64, a lot of games on the 64, Legend of Zelda, the Moon theme from DuckTales, and the best one of the best ones was Sonic, the first level. I forget, grass, green field, whatever. But so yeah, it's pretty much classics. But again, like I told you, it's instruments that are not fancy. There's no DJ beat or nothing. So it's purely the classics. The piano and etc, and it works, man. It was beautiful and it justified my existence. Just because, like, I grew up with all this stuff. I grew up poor, right? And when you grow up poor, you get old consoles that they had when they were young. So I literally started with the Atari 2600 with like Dig Dug and Pac-Man, like the OG of the OGs. Then I got the Nintendo, then the Super Nintendo in order, and then N64, PlayStation, PS2, etc, onwards and upwards. And I've had them all except for, unfortunately, the PS4, Xbox One era I completely skipped because I got a PC instead. So I missed out on all those classics, like God of War, Last of Us Part 2 that I will stream one day, I promise. And but yeah, so this was, you know, mind blown. The only bad side of it was only 40 minutes. Not 40 minutes, sorry, 50 minutes. It was very short, to be honest. There was no like in between, there was no break. So it was just all the songs one after the other. Small intro from the conductor, which by the way knew nothing about video games. I laughed out loud when he said, okay, so we're still in the Nintendo 64 section, and then he presented this song, and we're continuing with Donkey Kong Country 2. And I'm like, bro. No, it's not that bad, but anyway, it was funny to us in the room gamers that were like, dude, it's like, come on now. But yeah, it was good stuff. And the funny thing is, the drummer, okay, he had his drum kit, and right next to it, he had a separate chair and a separate small thing. I didn't know what it was. This is what it was, okay? And he gets onto it in the middle of the Legend of Zelda section. And this is the beginning of Ocarina of Time. This is literally the start. And he plays this song on the thing I showed you, which is extremely difficult because you got to be extremely precise and delicate. And by the way, we grew up with this. I had music class when I was like 6 or whatever, and this is what we were playing. So it's funny to see a 40-year-old man, and he was prepping himself because it's a solo, you'll see. And he was literally like doing a drum solo in practice before this moment started. It's cool too because I was facing him. Here we go. Doesn't seem that bad, but trust me, watching it live, I was like, bro. And it was just him. It was him and the, I think the flute, playing this part, right? The piano, right? But then he continues. Man, I know it's one note, but you got it delicate and precise. No mistakes. And I could see the sweat on his brow. It was funny. So yeah, incredible concert. Thing is, they said it was the first Canadian representation, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's mostly not only a Canadian thing, but a Montreal thing. So, but I'm guessing there are video game concerts everywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, most big cities. At some point, it cost me $60 for 50 minutes, but it was a justification of my entire life. You know what I mean? So it's one of the best things I experienced, not only during COVID times, but just in general, even though, you know, I've experienced all the best movies and the things I deeply love and like IMAX and stuff like that. This is something completely different and worth it for anybody. So yeah, I saw the Final Fantasy one. This one was much better because it did a lot more games. And so yeah, in Final Fantasy, even though there's multiple different titles and multiple different composers, there is a sense that it's all the same thing. This one was crazy because they jumped from Sonic to like Assassin's Creed theme, you know what I mean? And the juxtaposition between those two made the thing so much more. So video game concerts, hard to find, right? But worth finding because they're incredible. Like if you're a gamer, it's like one of those things that you gotta experience because it's something else. And now that the good stuff is done with, it's time to talk about some of the most horrific things that's ever happened to us human beings. Here we go. There's no easy way to jump into this, okay? So we'll start with Auschwitz, and let me start with the bad, okay? I'm showing you the trailer here. And the only reason, when I show you trailers, there's two reasons for this. One, it's either an old film and it's a hard sell, which means I have to show you the trailer to just even give you the possibility of watching it, because my word is not enough. Or it's bad. And in this case, unfortunately, as you can see, the Auschwitz part is insane. Like it's pretty incredible. There was another title for this called The Escape from Auschwitz, but it got turned into the Auschwitz Report, which is better because this is based on a true story. Not only that, but the escape part it's tame, right? Because this is based on a real story. This is a real escape. So to show it cinematically, you gotta keep to the facts. And because they keep to the facts, it is somewhat boring. It is somewhat like, oh, okay, so that's how they escape? Sure, you know what I mean? And I won't spoil what it is, but yeah. And that is just the first third of the film, okay? The second third is them in the forest, like, on the run. And then the third part is the title. That's all I'll say. The title of the film is the third part. Now, the second part is extremely bad. Like, it's boring. And here's the thing. This movie commits the two biggest flaws you could ever commit in cinema, in storytelling. By the way, this film is Slovakian, but of course everybody speaks in their own tongue. And like I said, the Auschwitz part is incredible. In the beginning, they show the brutality, but they do not, it's not gratuitous. You're never gonna look away because it's never that bad. And sometimes the way it's shot is incredible. The most disturbing scene in the film is, and again, I'm just describing it because, you know, going by what I'm saying, I do not recommend this film, right? The prisoners are buried all the way to their head. All that's sticking out from the ground is their head. And a guy gets on a horse, and then you see it from far away where the horse is just walking there. It's crazy. So yeah, they do shy away from the brutality. The two flaws, the two cardinal flaws you can make. First of all, is your movie's boring. If it's boring, then what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Even the most dramatic drama has to be compelling. There's a very big difference between boring and keeping your attention. And the second biggest flaw you could do, and this is the most important, is we need to care. If we do not care, why are we here? Why are we here? Okay? And this is where I get slightly upset, because this is a true story. This is a true story of the birth of the Auschwitz Report, of a real escape, of real people that escaped. And like, yes, we care because we want these people to get out. We see the brutality, we understand historically, etc., but that's not enough. We need to know who these people are on a human level, and they don't. They're just two escapees. I barely remember their names. I barely know anything about them. I couldn't tell you a single thing about them. And, I'm not asking for much. The movie is an hour and a half. You could have added 10 minutes. Either a flashback or just a few scenes where they're talking about themselves, about their lives, about their families. But we don't get that. And these are real people, right? It should have been easy. One of them died in 2004, for Christ's sakes. Like, it should have been easy to make us care about these real people. And I straight up don't. And that's a big problem. It's a big, big problem. And of course, I care about the situation and everything else. So at the end of the day, the Auschwitz part is incredible because they had like 100 extras. It's crazy to see 100 bald men, and they're all bald, which means not only did they have to find bald extras, that many, which is insane. And nowadays, you never see that today. So that means a lot of them had hair and had to cut it for the sacrifice of this film. So there's a lot of respect to be given there. And again, they don't shy away from the brutality, which is, as weird as it is, if you're going to watch something about Auschwitz, you kind of do want to be put in there, and they do that. But everything else is rough. So for that, it's a 6 out of 10. I do not recommend it, but I do respect it. Moving on. But that is... yeah, by the way, a better example of this film is The Way Back. Same thing. It is a Russian concentration camp in this case. And all 4 of these characters escape. No, 3 of these characters escape. They found the 4th one. All bunch of amazing actors. Ed Harris, like Saoirse Ronan, and like Colin Farrell's like top tier stuff. And it's a amazing journey. And I believe it's inspired by real events. So this is just a much better, much more accessible, and much more compelling version of the Auschwitz Report. And, I wish it wasn't the case, but it is as such. Like this one I gave a 9 to. 9 out of 10. But yeah, here we go. Come and see, okay? First of all, I got some footage to show you guys, okay? This movie is 1985. If you look up on Google, most brutal war film ever made, this is like the third one on the list, only because most people haven't seen this one. Number one is like Apocalypse Now, which I have seen. Not that bad, actually. Not as bad as this one. This is the most brutal, most disturbing, most horrific, most traumatizing film I have ever seen. Requiem for a Dream, not even close. Nothing comes close, okay? Now, it didn't wreck me, because again, I literally saw it an hour ago, okay? I came out of the theater, got some food, put something fun on before I started streaming, because, man, it puts you in a state, right? And that, I'm not going to show you trailers. I will show you some footage, though. So because it's 1985, and I believe it's a Russian film, but don't quote me on that, it is viewed as a classic, but it's not one of the most seen films, you know? Cinematic war connoisseurs, if you will, like people who want to watch war films on principle, probably have seen this one, but man. And even though I am saying all these things, and trust me, I will put it over, big time, I do not recommend this film to anybody. This is brutal. You know, it's brutality incarnate, seriously. And so the reason for that is it's about a young man. It is a young boy, I would say. Age-wise, it's tough to say, okay? I wish we could get a clear image, but I'm guessing between 12 and 16 years old, okay? 12 and 16. Call him a teenager, I guess. Damn it, we're not getting a good piece of him. It's his film, okay? It's his film entirely, okay? Another thing it is probably top 3 best teenager performances of all time. It has to be. And not only that, but he carries the whole film. It's his journey. It's literally a boy who wants to be a soldier. He simply wants to be. Like, it's in that time, it's 1943, right in the middle of World War II. Nazis. I didn't even tell you what it's about, but yeah, it's Nazi occupation. So yeah, he joins the war. Things happen. And it's literally him going from trauma to trauma, okay? And while the trauma is disturbing, and it does get worse as the movie goes on, it could have been more disturbing. They do shy away from showing you most of the horrific things, but they do show you his reactions to him. They show you the PTSD. They show you the brutality of war through the eyes of a young boy, of a young man. And it's oh man, it's a performance of a lifetime. And I could not believe it. And the clips I will show you, by the way, are disturbing, okay, but they're not that bad. There's only 2 of them, and anyway. And I wanted to show you these because this is filmmaking in the 80s and in Russia, which meant there's less rules, man. It's the Wild West. Here, you got like lawsuits and whatever. Like, you can't go willy-nilly with your filmmaking, even if you're trying to make a statement, which this movie did. This will show you explosions, okay? These explosions are crazy. And the reason this scene is insane, it's only a few seconds, is the proximity. The proximity shocks me. Here we go. Oops. Don't worry, it's going to replay. Trust me. Oh, crap. It's going through the graffiti. No. Okay, here we go. We're talking 30 feet from a young boy and a young girl. This would never be allowed in a movie in the States. This is like crazy. And the crazy thing about this scene is that those are the first 2 explosions of like 20 in a row. Boom, 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 boom. And man, the crazy thing about explosions is that they're actually scarier when there's no fire. Explosions without fire, like you've just seen, you could feel the raw power. Look how high that smoke goes. So close to them. So close to death. A piece of rock could have flew with that the intensity of that explosion right into their face. You know what I mean? Anything could have happened. So it's pretty crazy that they filmed that. And the second thing is, there's this movie called Fury with Brad Pitt, which is a war film that came out like, I don't know, 5 years ago. And it's weird because the bullets are like red lasers. I'm like, it looks like Star Wars lasers inside of a war film that is supposed to be taken seriously. It's about like a tank crew. And I was like, man, this is some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it was literally one of the main reasons why I did not like that film, and I bumped it down. But then this movie comes out from 1985. And this is what happens. They're getting shot at. It's the exact same red lasers. I was wrong. Either I was wrong, or this is the effect they chose. But considering how real the rest of the movie is, I'm inclined to believe that this is some good fake bullshit. You know what I mean? This movie is so real and so raw in terms of, at a certain point watching this, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, by the way, you forget that you're watching a film. and you're just in it, man. You're just in occupation Nazi Germany, and you're just following this kid's journey from brutality to brutality, and man, it's crazy. But the ambition of its storytelling and its message, right? It's anti-war, of course, but they don't shy away from the gray nature of it, right? Yes, you will see horrific things done by Nazis, but also done by the people trying to stop them. You know what I mean? And it's not it's not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. So I'm not kidding about this. This is the most brutal, most depressing, most horrific, most traumatizing film I have ever seen. But I am not traumatized because as a you know, I've seen horror films and whatever, and I can appreciate the art of it. I appreciate the insane work and the, you know what I mean? And they don't. What is traumatizing is what is seen, heard, and sometimes experienced, not only by you but by the character in the film, and not they don't. They go from one trauma to the other real quick. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? They never linger on something that would actually traumatize you, that would actually, like, I'm going to sleep perfectly fine tonight, right? But if you're not used to horror films or like war films in general, and you watch this, then yes. And if you're under 18, this could fuck you up. Like it's that crazy. And this is not a challenge. Please not watch this. Please. Okay? I watched it for you. I watched it so you do not have to see it. All you're going to see is a traumatized young boy. That is it. That is it. Yes, it's the most traumatized young boy ever on film, ever filmed, and it's a beautiful piece of cinema, and it's weird, and it's the word I used when I was watching it was damn it, no, I just lost it. Something like yes, I got it back. Ephemeral. It's an ephemeral film where there's no story. It is just like one trauma to the next, and the whole time I'm watching it, there's like a dream quality to it, but it is just straight up following this young boy from one thing to the next. It's just the flow of it. It's very weird. But it's just because we've never been there. The only way you would understand is if you were a young soldier thrown into like the worst war zone possible, and seeing the aftermath of it, being like shot at right in the middle of firefights, seeing the before, the after, everything of that, the worst war ever, the worst genocide ever. It's crazy. It's crazy. But because of that, it is a masterpiece. Like, I have to give it a 9. I would give it a 10. The only thing that holds it back is because it's so crazy and goes all over the place. Of course, some aspects are less good than others. That just, anyway. And it's 2 hours and 22 minutes, you know what I mean? But yeah. So yeah, don't watch it, please. No, don't watch it, but know that this exists. And there is a anti-war movie out there that not only goes for it all, but shows you everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's out there. It's crazy that it got made. But yeah, don't watch it. Okay, on to the main events. I promise you some goodness, and goodness I shall deliver. First of all, this is a quick preview of this. I'm jumping right in now, like right after the stream, and I'm going all in on Mayor of Easttown. This is an HBO show, limited series with Kate Winslet, award-winning actress. The hype for this was extremely good from the beginning. Okay, 8.6 as you saw there, the whole series. Thing is, the finale was last week or 2 days ago. Literally just finished. And I was waiting for the ending because these shows are a specific genre. It's a weird genre. It's small town murder, right? And then it's either on the detectives, in this case I'm guessing the mayor, to unravel the mystery. Thing is, with mysteries like this, you live and die by your ending. You live and die by your who's the killer, what happened, right? And usually they nailed it, right? These series wouldn't exist if they didn't have a plan for the ending. You start from the end, go from there. Broadchurch is a good example. Anyway, look at the scores here. That's all that matters. 8.1, and then it just goes higher. I just want to show you the finale real quick. Okay, boom, 9.4. Okay, last time I checked it was 9.7. Anything above a 9 for a finale of a murder mystery that is short, that's 7 episodes, dude, I'm in. Not only am I in, I'm in fast. So I'm gonna do, yeah. Whenever I cover the first 3 episodes, I will talk about them, and then I'll talk about the rest. But yeah, this is must watch. That's how you find them. So here we go. Now, main event time. We'll do the cat last because this is guaranteed quality. Well, this is also guaranteed quality, but I haven't seen this. So we're seeing this together for the first time. Again, animation into real life. The amount of work that takes to get this done is staggering. Okay, it looks easy. It makes it look easy, but it could be farther from the truth. Here we go. I'm so hyped for this. 1 a year. Makes me think of Pickle Rick. Apple worm.
Hammer, come and get it.
Yes. Dude, how does he reach higher? Poor little guy. F the salad. Man, these are good. Living up to the hype. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get copyright for this. I gotta talk over. This is dangerous. This is... I know it's transformative, but man. What? Okay, I thought he was gonna end on the stripper pen. The stripper crayon. Nasty. Man, it's so dense. It's crazy because it's 2 minutes, but it feels like so much longer. Nice, dude. Again, these are big. This is like a big deal. Look at this. 2021, May 31st, okay? The last one, November 16th, 2020. So that's a year and a half, right? I'm not saying that's the time it takes to make one of these, but bits and pieces. Every now and again. Crazy stuff. But here we go. Now this is the most pissed off cat. One of my favorites. Here we go. Classic. He's so mad. The dude was just like sleeping in peace. And he's like, my stupid adult pets freaking ruining my sleep. Sorry, I love a mad cat face because it's the one we recognize. Everything else we're like, the hell's our cat thinking? But this face, we all get it. Okay, so that's our show. Next time, like I said, Mayor of Easttown, Spirit, man. I highly recommend we all watch Spirit, Stallion of the Chimeran. Speaking of hard sells, baby. Okay, look, this came out in 2002. Okay, I give it an 8. I can't wait to see on replay how I feel about it. But people love this movie, like, and especially in 2D. I mean, it's one of those 2D classics like Prince of Egypt, and it's one of the last ones. But the reason I want you guys to watch it as well as myself is because Spirit Untamed, which has already scored, what the hell? Okay, 38 people. Makes sense now. This one's coming out next week. It's coming out this Friday, and like I said, I am most excited for this film out of everything else this year because it's the newest DreamWorks movie. They hold the crown of Best Animated Studio right now. But as always, you're only as good as your last film. That's why this competition is never ending and always exciting. So this movie literally determines if they get beat by Sony, who just did The Mitchells versus the Machines on Netflix, which is a bar none, probably the best one this year, and Pixar, of course, which is Soul was their last one. But we'll see. They have Luca coming up in the summer. But yeah, big deal. And I'm extremely hype about this. So yeah, when I watch the first one. So yeah, I'll watch the first one. You should too, honestly, because it is apparently a sequel, and I would recommend this, as you've seen right here. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece or anything, but just for the hype, just for the hype. So yeah, until then, I'll have something every day. I still have to do that Captain Toad Treasure Tracker DLC, which again, not many people have seen and only exists because of the passion from the developers. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So that's coming up in the coming days. Of course, I got to work, so we'll see. If I miss a day, it's because of work or I finish too late. That's how it goes. And this ending, I gotta work. This ending is supposed to be chat time with chat, but never happens. And when it does happen, I fuck it up and I miss it. Curse of my life, but trust me, we'll all look back on this on beautiful practice. Till next time.